Alright you guys, so just doing a review for this GoldenMate uninterruptible power supply. So if you see my power station videos, I mentioned a, UPS feature with a lot of power stations, especially with brands such as Bluetti and EcoFlow. And so, basically what a uninterruptible power supply is that it acts as a backup battery. So if you have a device connected into a UPS, and that UPS is connected into the wall outlet, and if you lose power, the UPS basically takes over powering the device that you have plugged into it, so it doesn't lose any power for the appliance that you do have plugged into the UPS. It's always receiving power, even when the lights go out, because that's what the UPS does. And so therefore, like if you have a computer, you can like safely shut it down. If you have a refrigerator, man, you're gonna need like a pretty big UPS, or like a power station if you want to continuously keep powering a refrigerator. But hey, like if you don't want your food to go bad and you want to keep your refrigerator on, you would have a pretty hefty UPS, and it can run off of that if the power goes out due to like the weather, or just a general power outage. But yeah, that's basically what this is right here. This GoldenMate one is a pretty small one, I gotta say. This is really just a emergency type of UPS, I suppose you could say. It does have a 230 watt hour capacity, I think. But let me just mention what's included in the box with the unit. So yeah, you get the UPS itself. You get a AC charging cable. This is a charging cable, and of course you're going to need this to plug into the wall outlet. And you can also get the manual right over here. Just taking a close look at the manual, just to give you an idea of what this product features. In case you want to pause the video, just to take a closer look at the manual, you can. Just taking a look over here at the specifications. So yeah, the unit is capable of supplying 800 watts of continuous power. So you got to know what you want to power with this UPS before you buy it, because if you're powering something that's goes over 800 watts, this UPS will not be able to continuously power the appliance that you have plugged into it, because it's just too much power to handle. But yeah, just got to stay within that 800 watt range right there. It also mentions right over here type of load. So you're looking at powering computers, workstations, networks, and monitors. So a lot of IT related things, I suppose you could say. Possibly continuously power a heater from this UPS, but no, not really though. I mean, once again, it does have a 230 watt hour capacity. Basically just taking that 25.6 volts and 9 amp hours right there, and multiplying them, and that's how you get the 230 watt hours. The life cycle for this UPS is going to be pretty great, because it does feature a lithium iron phosphate battery, so you're looking at about 3,000 charge cycles and still maintaining about 80% battery efficiency. And the way it cools itself is going to be a fan, so just heads up on that. You may be hearing some sounds with this UPS that you may hear in this review. The AC outlets are able to provide pure sine wave. And oh yeah, something else I forgot to mention is that there are a total of 4 AC outlets on this UPS. So you can plug in a combination of devices into the UPS that total 800 watts. So we're not just looking at like plugging in a incredibly high wattage appliance. You can plug in 4 relatively low wattage appliances and still have them being powered from this UPS in case your power does go out. So that's always good to see. And this is the weight and the size of the UPS right over here, kilograms and millimeters happening right there. I'm in the United States, so I have no idea what that means, but in case you want to know the size of this UPS, here is a Kirkland water bottle. Yep, there we go. So that's the size comparison right there. It's not very large, you guys. It's actually very manageable in terms of where you want to place it. If you want to place it right next to your computer, because you have your computer plugged into this, because you don't want your computer shutting down in the event of a power outage, you can place it right next to your computer if you want to. Just got to make sure that your computer fits within that 800 watt power usage range, that is. But yeah, just taking a closer look at the UPS itself. Over on this side, it does have the AC outlets. Man, it's got a... Oh, and this is the box that the unit came in. Nothing too showy or informative on the box. A pretty nice box, and it just has the UPS right there. And so yeah, when it comes to the UPS itself, over on this side, it does have the 4 AC outlets that are 3-prong AC outlets, so that's always good to see. I think this is the reset button right over here. It did mention on the manual. Let's see here. Yeah, so this right over here is the communication port, debugging interface, which cannot communicate with server. And this is the AC input socket, which is what you're going to be using with the included AC power cable. So I'm not too sure how you would use this. Pretty sure that there's some way to connect a device into the debugging port right over here to get some more information out of the UPS. And so right over here, the overall build quality of this UPS is pretty decent. I mean, really not much else to say. I mean, I think this is just plastic, but it's really well put together. It doesn't feel cheap, if that's what you're wondering. Yeah, right over here on this side, it does have this button right over here that lets you turn on the UPS. And all the way over here at the bottom, it does show the input wattage and the output alternating current right there. I'm not too sure why it doesn't show the input wattage and the output wattage, but it shows wattage on this side and AC on the output side. And this shows the battery capacity right over here in the middle. And that's really about it. I think in this case, this would be the type of active mode, I suppose you could say, because the UPS is actually activated right now, which is why it's beeping. Once again, this is a type of a emergency type of power, so you're not going to be able to power, say, something like a 400 watt appliance for too long. You're gonna have maybe a couple of minutes to do your thing, to maybe safely shut down a computer, and then the UPS will be running out of power fully just after a few minutes, because once again, 230 watt hours is not a lot of power to use. And then you can just press it again. I think that just shuts off the UPS, and then the screen shuts off eventually. But yeah, let me go ahead and just get this connected up to a AC outlet to see how the power switch goes from a wall outlet over to the UPS, and to see if the power switch is actually instantaneous. All right, you guys, so just back with the GoldenMate UPS unit. And so in this case, what I'm going to be testing out the UPS with is going to be this heater. This is a 500 watt mini heater. And also going to be testing out this lamp right over here to see if the UPS is able to supply enough power to both these appliances, and also if the switchover is instant. And so yeah, so let's see over here. I do have the heater and the lamp plugged into the 2 AC outlets over the back of the unit. And so right now, and I also do have the AC power cord connected into the AC input for the UPS, and it's plugged into this power strip right over here. And so right now, the UPS is just in standby mode. I think in this case, it's basically just recharging, but I can just go ahead and press this button right over here. It's going to activate the actual, the UPS. Just like that. There we go. And so right over here, this input is actually, I think, the power we're getting from the grid, because I don't know if you see that icon right over there. Resembles what's it called? One of those tower things. Basically it indicates the grid power. I think this right over here indicates the UPS power that's being used, which is basically nothing right now. So what I'm going to do right now is I can actually activate these 2 devices right over here that I've connected to the UPS. So the heater right now is actually being powered directly from the grid. Oh, and it does start beeping right there if you go over the 800 watt max output for the UPS, which the heater does, because it's a heater. It just goes, it spikes up in wattage usage and then it goes back down. It levels out, which it already did. And so what's being used from the grid is 477 watts, and what's being pulled through the UPS, I suppose, is 461 watts. So the UPS in a way does, it does still kind of supply power to the appliance that you're powering. You just got to make sure that what you're powering, through the UPS to your wall outlet, or in this case a power strip, fits within that 800 watt range. So just a heads up on that. You can't just plug in a 1,000 watt or higher appliance to the UPS and expect it to work. That's not how it's going to work, unfortunately. All right, and let me go ahead and turn on the lamp as well. All right, there we go. There we go. Lamp is on, and I think it's at max power in this case. I think that's why it's really bright. And so what we're using right now is about 488 watts directly from the grid. The UPS is pulling through about 474 watts. And to test out if the UPS actually works, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to, let's see here. Let me position my camera. All right, so this is the angle that I'm going to be going with. So, I have the screen in view right over here, and I have the heater in view. I'll be taking a look at the lamp over on my side. But yeah, basically I'm going to switch off the power strip to see if the power switch over from the power strip to the UPS is instantaneous. So 1, 2, 3. There we go. Turned off the power strip right there. And so yeah, we no longer have grid power, and you can probably hear that the UPS is starting to beep now. And the beeping basically has to do with the battery capacity that's left on the UPS. So I think the less battery capacity that's available on the UPS, the less runtime it has. It's basically giving you a warning that, hey, the UPS is being used. Just do whatever you need to do with the appliances plugged into the UPS. Shut them down safely before I lose power. That's why it's beeping basically right there. And yeah, that switchover was pretty much instantaneous. I mean, I didn't notice any interruptions to power, at least over on my side. I didn't notice any interruption of power. Let me go and switch on the power strip once again to see if we're able to get grid power back to the heater and the lamp. 1, 2, 3. So I no longer hear the beeping from the UPS. And right over here, we have grid power once again. So the heater and the lamp are now receiving power from the grid. All right, guys, so we're back on grid power right now, but let me go ahead and switch it back to the UPS power, being able to power the heater and the lamp. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Back to beeping. And let me go ahead and set the stopwatch right there. And I basically just want to see how long the UPS is able to supply power to the heater and the lamp when it's using about 477 watts right there. And I'll be right back, I guess, when the UPS is really panicking and beeping a lot. All right, you guys, so just back with the GoldenMate UPS. And so about 10 minutes and 30 seconds have passed since I started the test. And the battery capacity for the UPS is about halfway down. I know you can't really see it, but there we go. The battery capacity started with about 4 bars. We weren't at the full 5 bars, I think. We were only at 4 bars when I started the test. So we're nearly fully depleted with the UPS battery. And also when it comes to the beeping has become more frequent. It's beeping a lot faster now. I'm not too sure if you can notice, but yeah, it's definitely making a lot more noise, just indicating that UPS is depleting power pretty quickly. Oh, and there we go. And now we're down to 1 bar, and the UPS is nearly depleted. All right, there we go. Fully depleted the UPS using the heater and the lamp. Once again, this was using about 500 watts of power. And, just a reminder, this GoldenMate UPS only has a 230 watt hour battery capacity. So, using 500 watts with a 230 watt hour battery, Of course, the battery was fully depleted within just 13 minutes and 34 seconds. That was a lot of power for such a small battery, and so therefore it was able to deplete incredibly quickly. But the good news is that your case may not be the same as this setup, because once again, this is just a review for review demonstrations. But when it comes to a real world application for this GoldenMate UPS, the UPS is mainly there to continuously supply power to appliances, to either get you to safely shut them down, and to either get them safely shut down in time, or to continuously power the appliances until the power comes back on. That's mainly the function of UPS. This test right over here, this was a pretty extreme case with using a heater. But in your case, you may just be having a couple of, you may have a couple of low wattage appliances plugged into the UPS, and that might be it. They may be able to run from the UPS for a lot longer than 13 minutes. So just don't take this test too seriously. But yeah, that is my review. That is my review for this GoldenMate UPS that's able to supply 800 watts of power with a 230 watt hour battery capacity. The good news is that this UPS does use lithium iron phosphate batteries, so you won't have to worry about battery degradation. If you want to take a look at the actual price for this UPS, I will have a link to the product review. I will have a link to the product page for this UPS down in the description below. And I will see you all on the next video. All right, goodbye.